Hello viewers. Welcome to the legendary muscles. In bodybuilding, when we talk about the term mass monster, we always have a picture in our mind of Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman, but this is not the complete picture. Of course, Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman had changed the face of bodybuilding by showing their sheer size, but before these icons, two champions had passed who showed the world what a mass monster should be. The champions belong to the 80s and 90s era. Bertil Fox and Paul Dillett. In the sport of iron, where size, symmetry, and presence define greatness, few athletes have left as profound an impact as Bertil Fox and Paul Dillett. These two legends pushed the boundaries of muscle mass in their respective eras, earning reputations as some of the most intimidating physiques to ever grace the stage. Bertil Fox, known as Brutal Bertil, was a powerhouse in the 70s and 80s, with his thick, dense muscle and no-nonsense approach to training. His compact yet explosive frame made him a standout during his time, paving the way for the mass monsters to come. On the other hand, Paul Dillett redefined the term mass monster in the 1990s. Standing at an imposing 6 feet 1 inch and weighing over 300 pounds, his freaky size, incredible vascularity, and wide shoulders made him look almost unreal. Dillett epitomized the shift toward bigger, freakier physiques that became the hallmark of 90s bodybuilding. In this video, we'll dive deep into the lives, careers, and legacies of these two giants of the sport. Who was the true first mass monster, Bertil Fox or Paul Dillett? Let's break it down. But before we proceed, kindly subscribe our channel and press the bell button to get the future updates. Bertil Fox, the early pioneer of mass. Bertil Fox, also known as Brutal Bertil, was one of the most muscular competitors of the late 70s and 80s. He was ahead of his time in terms of size, boasting an incredibly dense and compact frame with thick chest development, powerful arms, and a dominating stage presence. Bertil was known for his brutal high-volume workouts, focusing on heavy compound movements with strict form. His training sessions often lasted 2 to 3 hours and included supersets and drop sets to maximize intensity. Chest dominance. His chest was one of his standout features, and he trained it multiple times a week with heavy bench presses, incline presses, and dumbbell flies. Bertil's diet was relatively straightforward, focusing on high-protein meals like chicken, fish, and eggs. He consumed moderate carbs like rice and potatoes to fuel his intense workouts but wasn't as meticulous as modern bodybuilders about macronutrient ratios. Downfall. Bertil's career took a dark turn in the 1990s when he was convicted of a double murder in 1997 and sentenced to life imprisonment. His promising legacy was overshadowed by this tragedy, which left a stain on his reputation in the bodybuilding world. Paul Dillett, the freak of the 90s. Paul Dillett, standing at 6 feet 1 inch and weighing over 300 pounds in the off-season, epitomized the mass monster archetype of the 1990s. Known for his incredible size, freaky vascularity, and wide shoulders, Dillett looked almost unreal on stage. However, he was often criticized for his posing and lack of conditioning. Unlike Bertil, Paul focused on fewer sets but used extremely heavy weights to maintain his size. His workouts were designed to emphasize his massive chest, shoulders, and arms. Focused on symmetry, while his size was his defining feature, Paul worked to maintain his proportions, ensuring his V-taper and wide shoulders stood out. Paul consumed upwards of 6,000 calories per day to sustain his mass. His meals were protein-rich, including chicken, turkey, and fish, paired with complex carbs like oatmeal, rice, and sweet potatoes. He also included healthy fats from nuts and oils. Downfall. Paul struggled with posing and conditioning, which often cost him higher placements at competitions. His most infamous moment came at the 1994 Arnold Classic, where he suffered a muscle cramp on stage and collapsed, unable to move. This incident highlighted his challenges with dehydration and extreme dieting. Later in his career, injuries and health concerns forced him to retire, and he transitioned into running his own bodybuilding federation, the WBFF. Who was the first mass monster? The answer depends on how you define a mass monster. Bertil Fox was a pioneer of extreme size and muscularity in the 80s, setting the stage for future bodybuilders. However, Paul Dillett truly embodied the mass monster look in the 90s with his towering size, freaky proportions, and unreal vascularity. While Bertil laid the groundwork, Paul Dillett took mass monster status to the next level. Conclusion. Both Bertil Fox and Paul Dillett made significant contributions to the evolution of bodybuilding, and their legacies remain etched in the sport's history. Bertil was the brutal, old-school lifter who brought unprecedented size to the stage, while Paul ushered in the era of the true mass monster with his freaky, larger-than-life physique. However, both faced personal and professional challenges that serve as cautionary tales for the extreme demands of the sport. Let us know in the comments who you think was the first mass monster, Bertil Fox or Paul Dillett. If you find this video helpful, kindly give it a like. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting content in the future. Stay hydrated and stay motivated. We will be back to you soon. Be legendary.